Prophet's mosque during his time.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنما يعمر مساجد الله من آمن بالله واليوم الآخر صدق الله العظيم.
When the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, arrived at the borders of Al-Madinah, while he was migrating from Mecca, the Ansar vied with one another to receive him, each of them hoping to host him. Some of them were even holding the rein of his camel, but the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, would tell them, "Leave her alone, for she is being commanded." The camel took the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, throughout the dwellings and farms of the Ansar, until she arrived at a land in the dwellings of Banu Najjar. She knelt down and then got up. She moved on not too far and then returned to the place where she earlier knelt down at. The Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, disembarked. Abu Ayyub al-Ansari quickly moved forward, carried the Prophet's saddlebag, and took it to his house that was nearby. The Ansar started inviting him to their houses. When he asked for his saddlebag, he was informed that Abu Ayyub had taken it to his house. He stayed at the house of Abu Ayyub that day. On the following day, the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, asked about the land on which his camel knelt down the previous day, and he was told that it belonged to two orphans. He called them and offered to buy the land from them. The two young boys wanted to grant the land to the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, as a gift. He insisted on buying it. The land was a ground used for drying dates. There were some palm trees and a few old graves on it. There was also a small stagnant pond there. The Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, ordered that the place be cleared for a mosque. The companions, including the Ansar and the Muhajirin, were then gathered. They brought water, removed the decaying bones from the graves, prepared the ground, and, with the Prophet's direction, drew boundaries of the structure. 70 feet from the north to the south, and 60 feet from the east to the west. They dug its foundation 1.5 meters deep, and filled it with appropriate amount of stones to the surface. They then raised it up above the ground by 3 cubits. The Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, took part in this work along with his companions. He would hold stones against his noble stomach, and the companions would rush unto him, saying, "Messenger of Allah, we can do that for you." But he would insist on physically taking part in the work. Some companions wanted to make the structure unique, but the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, said, "I would rather have a hut like that of Prophet Moses." They completed construction of its walls with mud bricks, making it 5 cubits in height. The structure had 3 doors, one in the eastern side, one in the southern side, and one in the northern side. As soon as the construction of the wall was finished, the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, led his companions in prayer there. When the heat became severe, the companions lined up the palm trunks, put a mat of palm branches on it, and then covered with palm leaves. On the southern side of the wall, they erected a shaded place there called a sufa, where poor emigrants and visitors took shelter. On the southeastern side of the mosque, 2 apartments were built for the Prophet's 2 wives, Aisha and Sauda. May Allah be pleased with them. The mosque then became the heart of Al-Madinah, visited by the companions in order to pray behind the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, to learn the verses that were being revealed to him, and to listen to his sermons. The Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, would give sermons in the middle of the front row. Whenever he felt tired, he would recline on the trunk that was situated beside him. Then, the mosque has neither pulpit nor mihrab. He would sit down in the mosque even when it was not prayer time, and his companions would form a circle around him. He would address and teach them. He would also sit down with the dwellers of As-Suffah and would keep their company. In some nights he would perform the voluntary night prayers in the mosque. In addition to the above functions, the Prophet's mosque also served as the center for building the new society, with the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, directing the affairs of the Muslims. When the Jews revealed their enmity towards Islam and the Muslims, some of them started mocking the Muslims concerning their Qibla, and they said, "If we had not been upon the truth, you would not have taken Bayt al-Maqdis, Jerusalem, as Qibla." The Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, would seriously be inconvenienced with this and would often look at the heaven, expecting a command from Allah concerning the Qibla. In the middle of the month of Sha'ban, in the 2nd year of Hijrah, the revelation came concerning the Muslims' Qibla with the following words of Allah. "Verily, we have seen the turning of your face towards the heaven. Surely we shall turn to you a Qibla that shall please you. So turn your face in the direction of Al-Masjid Al-Haram, and wheresoever you people are, turn your faces in that direction." The Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, and the Muslims were gladdened by the revelation of this verse. They quickly moved to change the position of the mosque. They closed the southern door and created an alternative door from the northern wall of the mosque. They then moved 2 lines of columns with their roofs to the southern side and left the remaining columns for the dwellers of As-Suffah. 5 years passed, and Muslims increased in number that the mosque too small to accommodate them. They complained about this to the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. There was an open piece of land neighboring the mosque. The Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, gave whoever could buy the land for the mosque glad tidings of paradise. Uthman ibn Affan, may Allah be pleased with him, quickly came forward and bought the land. The Muslims briskly embarked on extending the mosque after their return from the campaign of Khaybar in the 9th year after Hijri. A pulpit was built for Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, in the middle of the southern part of the mosque. When he gave a sermon on this pulpit, a severe groan was heard from the palm trunk he used to rest on. The Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, came down from the pulpit and embraced the trunk until it became quiet. The Prophet's pulpit had 3 steps. He would stand on the 2nd step whenever he gave a sermon, and would sit down on the 3rd step when he took a rest between 2 sermons. Adjacent to the pulpit was an area that extended from the Prophet's mosque to his apartment. This place is called Rawda min Riyad al-Jannah, a garden from among the gardens of paradise. We ask Allah to give us the blessings of visiting and praying there, and to endow us with adherence to the Sunnah. Blessings and peace of Allah be upon the Messenger of Allah Muhammed and his household and his companions.